Draw juice here on this Thursday, middle to late afternoon. We're going to get into some little figure drawing, little portrait kind of stuff. So I figured I would just jump right in. And let's see if everything's working here. I think so. How are you guys doing out there? What's new? You guys working your art? Got any pro gigs coming up? What's happening? You making progress? I'll tell you what, this technology is a little crazy. Setting all this stuff up. Why has it got to be so crazy? That's my question for you. All right. So guess what? I got a new iPad Pro. Unbelievable. So I'm trying it out for the first time. Right here. We'll see how it goes. You know, I got my... So far, so good. I like it. It's very pretty. Not really exactly warmed up yet, but it took me so long just to set this stuff up that I'm just gonna jump in. So just kind of doing some warm-ups here with some kind of new pastel kind of like feel, like traditional feel. It's kind of what I'm going for, new pastel on newsprint. Get that smooth look. Hello. That's Darrow. Darrow, ooh. How you doing? What's happening? Nice of you to come by. Where are you at, Darrow? Let's see if I can find a smudge tool. Just some of my edges. Yeah, so just warming up here. Trying to get used to how this iPad works and how the Procreate responds. Mississippi. That's cool. I think it does. It's a new one, the iPad Pro. So I think it has the M1 chip, but I don't really know, to be honest. But so far so good. How's Mississippi? It must be hot there nowadays, right? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so this is kind of like new pastel Conte crayon kind of feel that I'm testing out to see if it works out with the iPad and Procreate, and it does really well. And I'm using these Lane Brown brushes that he put together. Totally work really well like traditional media. It's definitely got the look. The feel is kind of a different matter because you know, it doesn't feel like traditional media because it's a little slippery. But you know, I would kind of like shape my new pastel and use the side of it to get those thick strokes, and you know, the tip of it or the edge of it to get the crisp edges. So you could use it, well, it's hard to explain, but you could use it on the broad edge and get a big broad stroke. Or if you had a squared off hunk of charcoal or new pastel, you could just drag it along the edge to get a really crisp line. Hello, Lubov from Wyoming. What's happening? Oh yeah, thanks, Darrow. I'm kind of excited for that too. Trying to create some time and space to draw. You know, it's like it gets harder to, I don't know, carve out that time and not let anything else usurp it. And then, you know, on top of that is just basic fighting your own laziness and all that stuff mixed in, right? So the best way I've found is to just go headlong into it and catch the energy, I guess, or the excitement of saying, okay, well, I'm gonna create something and I don't care anymore. It doesn't have to be great. I'm just gonna go for it and just dive in before my brain has a chance to sabotage me. You know what I'm talking about? You know, another cup of coffee, another email, another obligation. Next thing you know, day's over. That's what happens to me. So I'm just trying to squint and compare here. Don't get too much into the details. And that squinting and comparing definitely helps with the hey, Vikas, how you doing? Oh, cool. Awesome, from India. So great. We got Mississippi, Wyoming, and India. That's really fun. So let's see, as I was saying, the squinting and comparing thing is really the key, and understanding your values, like just a basic 2 value, 3 value, or let's say 5 value system. And just comparing. And I think the biggest struggle is doing it. But then once you're squinting, what is it that you're really comparing? And one of the big problems is muddy drawings, muddy, dirty looking drawings. And that's because you're out of value, meaning your lights are too dark, your halftones are too dark, and your darks are too light. So that means that you're squinting, or maybe you have your eyes wide open, but in any case, you're comparing the things in the light to other things in the light. And then your lights get all dark, right? Because you're noticing all the dark things and all the light things and everything in between on the light side. And then you're, subsequently, or when you're in your darks, you're comparing darks to darks. And so your darks start to get noisy because you're looking at reflected light and you're looking into the shadows and you're seeing the core shadow and you're seeing that the reflected light is lighter than the core shadow. And so you start to exaggerate those things. And then your darks become really noisy and kind of spotty looking, dirty looking. And then that's a problem because the values get confused. If your darks get too light, then they start to compete with the light side. So what you want to do is compare the things in your lights to the things not only in the lights but in the darks, right? And then you're going to get a better calibration of how light something is relative to the darks. So that's why we say squint and compare. You're squinting and comparing lights to darks and darks to lights. And that's not very complicated to do, but you just have to kind of get used to doing it, because what we tend to do is just open up and look at everything, and we see it all at once. We don't know our value scale. We don't know how to compare one value to another, so it's out of control. It's hit and miss, you know, and that causes, you know, unending grief and failed drawings and stuff. It doesn't have to be that way, but it does take some training to know that you've got to do that, you know. At least it helps to do that. The other thing is edges. If you have a good understanding of edges, you know, your basic hard, soft, and lost, your drawings are going to look way better instantly. It's really quite stunning how effective that is. And then how much interest it creates in the drawing when you have a variety of edges. Let's see, you know, you can just look at Zhao Ming Wu's work. Zhao Ming Wu, amazing edge play with charcoal and oil. I can try maybe to do a little example here if I can get to that place where I can do that. Let's see here. You know, so you can just obliterate an edge. You can, you know, you can lose an edge. You can make an edge kind of fuzzy and lost. Or you can just go past the edge. So even though there's a line there, you can go past it, and it will still hold up, right? So if I have a line here, I can go up to the line, but I can also blow past it, right? And it's still, all this stuff is outside the line, but the line is really a strong graphic symbol. It's going to hold, it's going to retain its integrity, its power. You may have, right, you may have softened it down a little bit, created less contrast, but the line is still there. So I could do that, you know, in my figures. I can go, you know, outside the line, like here. I can go outside and create less contrast here on the right side, but let's say more contrast on the left side. And so I can quiet things down, or, you know, make them a little bit more noticeable and loud, so to speak. And it creates interest, visual interest, because you have a variety of edges, but it also moves your eye through, kind of helps move your eye through. And then you have your line weight, your thick and your thin, right? Your thick and your thin, all that stuff. I'm trying to incorporate as much of that as I can. So you get your hard and soft edges, you have your line weight, and then you have your accurate values describing forms. Round forms, chiseled hard forms, and everything in between. Right? And then I could either add some light to this, right? Like I could add a little bit of light. I think I need a lighter. Right, so it looks like there's kind of a light off camera, right? Right, so I could do that. Okay. Or, let me just erase a little bit of that. Oops. I'll take a hard brush. Right, so I could have light like that, or I could kind of come up to the edge and put a tone there. Right? Right up to the edge and get a nice crisp edge. And that kind of holds, it's light, dark holds light, and light holds dark, so to speak. So it's holding the edge, and it pops that light edge forward when I put a dark there because of the contrast. So we have this relative contrast aspect to values. That is to say that this light part of the buttocks looks lighter next to something dark, that dark background. Okay, so if I want your eye to go there, I'll just give this more contrast. And so, you know, your eye will go there first. You know, if I'm doing that correctly, let's say, I can create these little movements and areas of interest. So if I smudge that, I can create some interest, right? If I lose this edge, you're going to look at some other place, right? But I kind of like that how it is. Then I could lose it down here maybe. I can really fine tune it so that you're looking right there at that place. How is my work drawing? Lubov. Any tips on drawing and painting for client and your personal projects? Where's that balance? Oh, yeah. You know, I try to set a schedule because the client has a, you know, a due date. There's usually a firm due date. And so I'll try to get some exercise as well, because I don't want to neglect my health, which, you know, when I was younger I could do that, but it's not wise to do that. And so I think getting up early, you know, doing my emails, and then, you know, getting to the client work, doing social media, right? Stuff like that. Yeah, drawing and painting for a client. I mean, I definitely have a workflow is really helpful. And it's usually, you know, kind of a 3-part thing where I have you know, discussion with the client. They give a brief, a verbal brief, written brief, right? And then I will do thumbnails. And I'll do a bunch of thumbnails. And you can look in my ArtStation. I have a post there about a book cover I did recently. And I go through the whole process. You can see my exact workflow from thumbnail to finish. And it is yeah, I'll give them, can't really talk. I'll give them 3 thumbnails, and they might be line, they might be value as well, but I'll try to make them look like they're from the same person. And meaning there won't be all these different styles, right? You don't want to like confuse the client, but just give them some similar styles. So if you give them line work, give them line work. You know, if you give them values, you know, basic values, dark, medium, light, then go with that. And I'll give them something, how do you say it, realistic. I'll give them something that's a little more exaggerated, like the shapes might be pushed and pulled, a little more creative, a little more fun. And then I'll give them something that's not so pushed, right? So I'll kind of have these, one that's in the middle that they might expect, you know, something that isn't too out there. And then I'll give them something a little more exaggerated because that's fun for me to do, you know, and it's probably something that they won't pick, but at least I had fun doing it, right? So for example, if I have this character that's some kind of warrior, then I'll give him a regular warrior, then I'll give him a super exaggerated warrior, and then I'll give him like one that's not so crazy. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, that way you kind of got your bases covered, and you know, the client will probably be happy and pick something, and you'll be happy because you got to do something creative. But that's usually not the one that they pick. They usually pick the one you don't want to do. That's not cool. Because they've got an audience they have to please, or, you know, some art director, and they're trying to pick the best of they're kind of trying to please a wide constituent base. So if you're going to sell paper towels, you have to, you can't offend anybody. You can't show them something they've never seen before. You got to show them paper towels. And people need to know what they're buying. That's just a simple example, but I don't know if that's helpful. Yeah. What? It's always the one you spend less time on, or just to make that you actually did more than you actually did. Yeah. It's always frustrating that way. But I had a couple book covers lately that was really fun. Yeah, I'm glad that was helpful, because they just let me, kind of go. They hired me for my style, and so they were like, do what you do kind of thing. And so that was really fun, to have a client like that. And so I didn't feel a lot of, there wasn't a lot of criticism and pressure and stuff like that, besides the normal pressure. Your husband just discovered me from the Robert Valley podcast. Yeah, he works in animation as a video artist and just says that he is a new fan. Woo! He's a color key artist. Oh, that's so neat. Right? Oh. And where are you located? Oh, from Wyoming. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, we got a little artist community out here. Color. I love color. I have a pretty basic color understanding. Like, I wouldn't want to teach it, but I can do it, No, my color's not killer. Color, thanks. I want to paint more limited palette stuff. I think sometimes that can be more more expressive somehow, because I'll just get the color dodge tool and then start pumping up the colors and pumping them up and pumping them up, and I just go, wow, that is so beautiful. You know, it just looks so saturated and intense, and I like that, you know. But when I look back later, it's sort of like too much color everywhere, and it's maybe not the best way to go. Been thinking about that Zorn palette and just setting up some oils and just going for that. Oh, yeah, Adam Duff. He's pretty cool. He's got a good voice. Oh yeah. You saw that panoramic Frazetta type thing? Yeah, well, that's what I was working on recently. That, um, you know, working with the vignette to kind of bring a focus to it, and then trying to adjust my values so that you know, it seemed like there was an infinite distance or something in the middle to far distance. Kind of trying to make things vast and stuff. That's kind of a value thing. But then, yeah, playing with the different colors, and there's one there where there's like a door opening in the middle of the sky, right in the distance, and the light streaming through. That's like, I love that, you know. I definitely don't know when to stop with that stuff. Yeah, I have some NFTs, Vikas. I've sold some NFTs, which is really fun. So the ones that we were just talking about, the panoramic stuff that's on my art station, I'm looking for a place to launch those. And hopefully, you know, with any luck, I could get into one of these websites that does that. That kind of features artists' NFTs. So I've got this this series. This is. Let me see if I can go back to my show you guys. Like this is one of them. It's really long. I've cut off the edges on this one. Like it's no. And so anyway, it's really wide. It's like panoramic, and it's the idea is this moment in time where eternity breaks through, and we don't know what that could look like. It could look like a white horse with a sword and God riding the white horse, or it could look like some kind of new city breaking through that is going to become the new earth and the new heaven and new earth. And so you can see there's kind of a figure floating there, like a godlike figure, and then it's almost like a UFO, right? But it has a stained glass window, so it's got these sort of spiritual, iconic, symbolic stuff. And so I have about 10 of those, and there's different people. It would be like, witnessing these people, witnessing this event, what it would look like, right? So it'd be like you've got a kind of a primitive guy there, kind of a caveman, and then you could have some backpackers that are just backpacking in the mountains, and suddenly this event happens. You could have a businessman. I have one, there's a Viking. And so it's just fun. I'm just playing around with different concept stuff because I worked as a concept artist. So it's fun to play with shapes and come up with, I don't know, concept vehicles, character designs. So it's kind of an excuse, really, just to play around for me. And then the NFT thing came up, and I was kind of like, yeah, well, let's just keep developing this, because this is it's neat. It's kind of thought-provoking, I think. It's futuristic. It's digital. It's transcendent. I don't know. It's crypto. All these kind of things I'm interested in. The Viking one is cool. Oh yeah, thanks. Thanks, Lubov. Yeah, I like that Viking one. Oh, your husband likes Vikings. That's cool. Yeah. So yeah, it might be cool to have like a businessman with a briefcase standing there. What else? Oh yeah, a cowboy on a horse. That's the one that I really want to do. Right? Wouldn't that be cool? What do you guys think? Yeah, blockchain. Because you know much about the blockchain? Are you guys into crypto at all? I mean, because of the NFT stuff, it kind of brings artists into it. But do you guys do any, investing in that? Or minting NFTs? What do you guys do? Ancient Mayan, yep, that'd be cool. Yes, sir, investments. Because how did I know? How did I know you? How did I know you know? Good man. It's what do you like about it? Why do you like crypto? Um, what is it that fascinates you? Are you into, coding and computer language and money? All that is kind of wrapped up together. Aside from the fact that our government is printing its way into oblivion, we need kind of another place to get away, to protect investments and stuff, because they obviously don't care. They're out of control. If you're not Alberto Miego and don't want to have some kind of following, it's hard to get into it. And it pays as much or less as AAA client work. You mean NFTs? Yeah, I minted some NFTs and right away they sold. It was like, like I made $5,000 like really quick. And I was like, oh, this does work. Now, a former student of mine approached me and he had made a website and he said, do you want to host your, mint an NFT on my website? And I was like, yeah, okay. And so we set up a wallet and I minted some NFTs and they sold. So that was pretty neat. So, it's kind of just another avenue for us to try. And then I was investing anyway. That's how I kind of heard about the NFT stuff. And the art thing was secondary. I was already invested in a bunch of different coins. And that was going fine because I got in last year. And I just jumped. I was like, I don't know what to do. My money can't sit in the bank. I'm just going to jump. I'm going to try it. And I put my big toe into Bitcoin. And I was pretty nervous to do it. I didn't know if it was just I was going to lose all my money or if it was, a scam. And it just kept going up. And so then I bought some Ethereum and then I bought altcoins and this and that and the other. And pretty soon, you're just like managing all that stuff. It's a lot to manage, I'm kind of burnt out on it right now, but we're kind of waiting for this blow off top bull run to be over. There's supposed to be a repeat, of what happened in 2013, 2017, kind of a blow off top event where things go parabolic. So it hasn't gone quite to plan with the community out there. It's like we had COVID, then we had China banning crypto, and then the Fed saying they're gonna tax it or control it, so people get scared, and then the market goes down. So I don't know, hopefully we will have the blow up top and then it'll be time to get out for a year or so and then get back in when it starts to go back up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're accepting a second wave. We're expecting. Yeah, expecting, right. Lots of fuss, man. So you got some coins. What do you got, Vikas? Are you in altcoins or oracles or dexes, or which one do you like? Which ones do you like? Polka dot Cardano, yeah, baby. That's right. Me too. I got my I got my staking going on. Um, Cardano did really good during the last year, just about, because I got in 2020, right? So Cardano or Ethereum did really good, and then I got out of that. I just have a little bit, and then I got into DOT and Cardano and XRP. I'm in the XRP army. I really hope that lawsuit can be over, because it kind of I went into XRP big. So if that explodes, I'll be happy. Yeah, it's bookkeeping. I mean, I have a book, and I wrote down every transaction I did, every buy, every sale, what price. And I mean, I got serious about money. I was never serious about money. And then I was. It was like my father came alive inside of me. You know, because I never cared about what my father said. He always wanted me to read investment journals and talk about money, and I just couldn't give a shit. You know, I was drawing, I was playing music, and now that I'm older, and you know, it's like I'm responsible for this, you know, life I'm living and providing. It's like I need to pay attention and realize that the crazy stuff that's going on, and to protect my wealth, you know. And so that's just hit me later, you know, in life. So I guess it's good, but I'm getting, yeah, it does tend to kind of, it starts to take over, and then that wears me out, you know, because I'm not, I mean, I read charts and I look at stuff and I do try to understand analysis, and eventually, you know, I'm kind of like, okay, after 6 months of that, you know, I want to just not do it for a while. But I think, I mean, but it paid off. That's the thing. I mean, it wasn't like it didn't do anything. It did a lot. And um, so I was kind of surprised, you know, that that's another thing, you know, it's another thing that's there, that in dry times, you know, as an artist, you can kind of say, well, you know, I've got this to go to. I've got NFTs, or I've got prints or illustration gigs, or, you know, I have my investments and stuff. And I think that's, as artists, we need those multiple streams of income kind of thing, you know. What do you guys think? Risk to reward ratio is sweet. Yeah, that's right. Um, you know, I was just surprised that I could make money doing that, because I wasn't into money, but you can. It's just, it does take time. There's a lot of learning, and it takes time to bone up on all that crap, and the technology and the MetaMask and the, cold storage wallet and the passphrases and all this stuff, right? But that's what it takes. I mean, otherwise, just let other people manage your money, and that's fine too. I had people manage my money, and they didn't do a good job. Like I don't know. I feel like I just felt like it was time to maybe take it under my own control, just because of the money printing, right? The crazy money printing, and thinking that my stockbroker didn't really care. They only know so much, and they're gonna kind of tell you what makes them money too, So they're not going to tell you get out of this or get out of that, as much as just stay and ride it out. But I just don't trust the stock market right now. Even though it's just been going up and up and up and up, it's like I totally I got out of that and I missed all that. But that's why I sort of jumped into crypto, because it's gone up too, and it's kind of outperformed. At least, Bitcoin, Ethereum has outperformed many investments. So, whatever. What the? Yeah. Stay away from brokers. Well, I never had any money. I mean, there were times when I had some money, some really good jobs and in the game industry and stuff, but they don't last forever. And I worked, and then when I had money, I was like, my God, I need to protect this. I can't just assume that this is just gonna be here. I need to kind of take note. And that's just kind of my path for now. One thing, getting married kind of really brought that front and center for me too. And that's good. That's a good thing. What's the weather like in Wyoming? It's a beautiful place. Big, beautiful sky, nature. So it's sunsets and cloud reference land. Oh yeah, totally. Big skies, right? Big skies. Let's see how this smudge thing works. What kind of smudge tool? Dirty finger. Okay, I like that. Smudge. Let's smudge it. Right, see how blending out some of that contrast and some of those hard edges start to bring focus to the eyes. Right, sometimes if your drawing isn't working, it could be that it's just there's too much contrast everywhere, and you can just kind of wipe it down with a paper towel or your finger. And this smudge is called Dirty Finger. There's also the Yan towel wipe, and Henry Yan is a master figure drawer. If you don't know him, check out his stuff. But just smudge it, knock it back, and then reestablish. Right, so if things get a little, it's sort of bringing it back into the middle, and then you can reestablish the drawing again. And I would do that a lot with charcoal stuff, because it gets out of control easy. And then you can wipe it back a little bit, and then come in and, let's say, grab hold of a few areas again and reestablish. Like I could put in the pupil here, bring in the contrast in the deep recesses of the eyes. And kind of have the center of focus there. I kind of like approaching it like it's emerging. So, I won't just draw a pupil like this and color it in. I'll kind of do this. And I won't go all the way dark until I have to. So it's got a kind of a gradation. I set up a gradation with the iris and then the pupil, and then sneak up to the darkest dark. Because if I do that, it suddenly looks wrong. So I feel like I need to just sneak up on it. Then I know when to stop a little bit better. There's always kind of a shadow from that top lid onto the sclera, onto the iris. All right, guys. I think it's time to kind of wrap it up. It's been really fun. Hey, Supakuta, bought your course. All right, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you guys, whoever bought the course. You guys, I really appreciate your support, man. It's my heart is thankful, and I'm happy to help people and give back as much as I've been given to and what I know, sharing it, being of use, to the world. And I really mean that. It gives my life meaning, And so, thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, Louis Boff, for sure. It's my pleasure. It's really fun to hang out. It's for me, I'm kind of not a person who, well, I just worked all my life doing art, just sitting in the cubicle, producing art for games and TV shows and stuff like that, and illustrations. So I never really wanted to, talk in front of people. To be honest, it was kind of like I didn't know how to do that, or to explain art, But throughout the years, I had the opportunity to learn how to talk about it and to do it and to teach it, and that's been a big learning curve. I mean, because if you give me a guitar and tell me to sing, okay, no problem. But if you say, here, go and talk in front of people, right? That's one of the biggest fears people have, is talking, public speaking, right? So I was no different, right? It just was like, sweat running down your back and saying, don't look at me, I got nothing to say. And, over time, it gets better. And so for me, it's really fun to hang out and just keep growing, because there's the technology part of this. Like, it took me a while to grab a hold of OBS and then figure out how to make all that work. And then, so there's multiple things to do here to get yourself out there, and it's all there. And I just had to continue sort of pushing myself. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah, you guys keep growing, don't stop. Join the Facebook group. I'll have a link in the description. There's like over 3,000 students in there, growing and supporting each other and stuff. So, if you want to get in there and get into a community of people that are like-minded and learning, and have some fun with that. All right. So, God bless everybody, and we'll see you next time, right? Hopefully I'll be doing this at a regular time on Tuesdays. So far it's been kind of irregular, but that's my randomness, I guess. All right, so I'm gonna sign off. I just can't stop drawing. That's the thing. Don't stop. Music and art. Throw in some crypto. And then it's a beautiful day. All right. See you guys later. We'll shut this thing down. Bye-bye.